to a show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mess Podcast. And it's me, it's Dante. And joining me today is going to be my good friend. Look, we Detroiters, right? Like, he's from Detroit, I'm from Detroit, but we've since transplanted elsewhere. That's initially we connected to jiu-jitsu, but once we found out about the Detroit connection, it was like, oh, now this cousin.
It was on.
So let me welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Mo Brown. What's up, Mo? How you been feeling, man?
What's up, man? What's up? Just living the dream, as they say.
Yes, as they say. But what's been going on? You've been active social medially lately. With the Instagram stories and everything, and lots of training going on. How's that all going for you?
Man, dude, it's going great. So much is going on with jiu-jitsu right now. It's crazy, but I love it. I'm at this point, I'm really just trying to keep up day to day. Really, just trying to keep up with it, everything that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how the game is. The jiu-jitsu is one of those fun things where, no matter how much you learn, you're still trying to keep up. The game just keeps moving.
Right? Ain't that so, man? Which is crazy. Like, I don't think I haven't, normally I would consider myself a competitor, but I haven't even competed this year at all. I think the last time I competed was last November in 2024. Yeah, but I've still had a lot going on with like jujitsu. I started my own clothing brand. That was a major thing that I did from the beginning of the year, which is still going on now. Picking up a lot of steam with that. And then through that, I've been like trying to find athletes that I can sponsor. I currently just have one, and he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but I think also he's going to do MMA. I hit him up earlier because I was asking him, I was trying to figure out what he just won some like super match in Texas. It was like a big promotion, but I can't remember what it was under, but I just got him a sponsorship. I'm gonna sponsor him. I've also I'm in the works with sponsoring a pro track athlete. And
Nice.
I've known her since like freaking grade school though. But yeah, she's been doing her thing there and was like interested in representing the brand. So I'm like, yeah, let's get that going.
Yeah, definitely. With the clothing brand, what inspired you to, kind of go that direction and get that ball rolling?
Man, it was real honestly, that's funny. Right before I competed last in November, it was a super match. So just like one match, and it was like they were trying to make it a spectacle or a big thing. It was a big thing. I'm not trying to take away from the promotion. It was a big thing. It was nice. It was well put together. But a lot of people couldn't make it because it was like in Bartlesville, which is like a smaller town in Oklahoma, like right outside of Tulsa. But a lot of people were like, asking me about pay-per-view or if I had merch or anything like that to sell so they could support me. And I didn't. And I was just like, man. And then after hearing that about 6 or 7 times in a row, and then after me saying no, I don't have anything, they're like, "Well, you need to start. You should start your own brand." I just heard it like 7 times in a row, literally. And so I was like, "All right, boom, I'm gonna do it." And so yeah, man, it's been a work in progress since then. Since like
Nice.
November is really when I started it, but I didn't start like put anything out for sale until around well, not even around. It was for sure like January 1st. It was the release at the beginning of the year. But yeah, man, been working on that ever since, man.
Good. I remember you messaged me when you were getting the ball rolling. I was like, okay, all right, I see it. That's cool. And from time to time I'd see a post come up because once I followed the account, it was like, okay, I should see something, some things coming up. What happens was like the algorithm just buries everything because my algorithm's trash. I don't even know. I don't know what be coming up sometimes. Maybe like WWE like videos cat videos now. Like I guess I'm a cat
Bro,
video
cat
guy.
videos heavy on mine. I'm heavy on cat videos. I got a
Like
cat
on
now.
my horror page, it is, but BJJ Wiki, like that's a new thing. And then suddenly, I just started seeing cats doing wild shit, and I was like, what? Like, yo, Meta needs to chill. Like they need to stop. Like, but I mean, it's all connected, I guess. But now I was looking, like, um for posts, and I was like, all right, well, nothing's coming up because again, algorithm got buried. And then recently, I started seeing more stuff. So I guess like finally, I got caught into it. But yeah, that having a line is a big thing. And then, like you said, people want to support, and I think that's super important. When once you get people that are like behind you and want to support, that's
Yeah,
that's
man.
super cool, man. Too
It's a
good.
game changer. Another thing that's been helping me draw support too, though, is like I've been trying to, not trying, I have been actively doing is giving back. Like trying to find ways to give back to either, even if they're not less fortunate, just people that just don't, that don't have it. And that doesn't mean
Mhm.
that they're less fortunate, but they just might need money for this or money for that. And I really try to stick it to like athletes though, like keep it an athletic thing. So for instance,
Sure.
um, I like volunteered at it's a child development center in Southside OKC. I volunteered there for like 8 weeks, teaching them like basic, real basic anti-bully skills. And I say basic because they're super young kids. Like I think the oldest kid was
Hmm.
like maybe these kids are about to graduate to go into kindergarten. So they're like,
Okay.
Head Start, I guess, if you will. Like
Yeah,
oldest
like
kid was like
five,
five. Yeah,
maybe a
exactly.
six somewhere. I think six is
Right,
kindergarten to
right,
first, so five would be Head Start going into kindergarten.
right. So the attention span, dude, man, talk about an uphill battle. But I got smart with it really quick. I was like, I immediately realized I needed like a reward system, something like pull them back. Like, hey, if you're not listening, we're not gonna do this. So I was like buying like stickers, like Marvel stickers, different all princess stickers, because there's little girls in there too. And so
Of
that's what I
course.
would do. Like, if you're not listening, or it really wasn't a discipline thing. It was like more of like a reward based system where it was like, if you are listening, you get stuff. If you're not listening, you don't get anything. But I'm not going to highlight that. I'm only going to highlight when you're listening and then reward you.
Hmm.
So, but it ended up working out well enough to where they were like devastated that it ended. All the kids were. And then so I was like, all right, I'll come back for another month, but it doesn't start until June. So I'll go back for the whole month of June.
Nice, nice. That's something I think is really cool and important, for jujitsu just as a whole, because and I was just talking about this recently about um, kids getting involved in jujitsu. My old neighbor just got his daughter into jujitsu, and he had been asking for years. Because our kid, his daughter and my daughter, our kids are the same age. I think they're like 3 months separated, in age. And I think when his daughter was like
Sorry to interrupt
three,
you. How old is your daughter?
she just turned 9 last week.
Okay. Cool, cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Anyway,
he would ask like when she was 3, like, can she do jujitsu at 3? And I was like, I mean, I don't know that our gym is teaching 3 years. I think we're waiting until like 4 or 5. But I think it's important because even though they're not learning like how to, do an Imanari roll at 4 or 5 years old, because that's the thing that people always have this goofy concept of when you say kids doing martial arts, kids doing jujitsu in general. It's like, they're thinking like, oh, they're going to be doing arm bars or they're going to be doing, heel hooks. And it's like, no, not at all. Like, I mean,
nope.
honestly, they're just going to be really learning how to control their own little body,
Right?
how not to fall
Exactly.
over because, they ain't got good balance. They 5.
Exactly.
I mean, my 9-year-old don't got good balance. She just learned how to ride her bike yesterday. So, like, you gotta chill on what you expect of these kids at a certain age. But I'm glad you're doing that though. That's super cool.
Yeah, man. Like at first, I was like not really. sure how to go about it because I knew I couldn't teach them, nothing like crazy or even, anything really like as far as like even any submissions or takedowns. Because my biggest worry was like leaving and then these kids immediately trying to do it on each other, and I'm like, oh man, like now they don't want me to come back. Like, nah, we're good on that. Like, you had these kids doing freaking double legs and single legs. I'm just like, ah. But what I eventually boiled it down to was like using, doing more of like role playing to work on using their voice to prevent it from even getting physical. And so
Hmm.
that worked out really well doing it that way. But I still did teach them like if someone's like a kid's trying to grab your wrist or if they're pushing you, like what you can do to stop them from pushing you or pull your hand away, different things like that. But most of it was all verbal things. And then just like you said earlier, learning to control their own bodies, doing different types of I was calling them or I took it straight from my academy. We call them animal races. So I was
Hmm.
just, but it's just like different body movements where you're, moving on the ground, bear crawling, crab walking, things like that.
Yeah, those things, and for kids, that's part of playtime anyway. I think that's the important thing that people miss out on too. Is like, I used to be a preschool teacher, so when parents would come in and observe, it's like, oh, they're just playing. Like children learn through play, and that's the whole thing with teaching young ones, martial arts as well. It's not that you're teaching them, again, how to, do a hip toss or a, double leg or a single leg or any kind of takedown, but you're teaching them, basic movements through play, through games that, is going to teach them better ways to um get coordination and stuff like that. So it's all fun and games, and they pick up on that. They pick up on it immediately because it's a game.
Yeah, dude, exactly. I kind of try to use it as a funnel to get, and see, that's the thing, right? Like that, doing that sparked doing it at other locations as well, not just that uh, Head Start. Going to different other Head Starts, and then I'm starting to use that to try to get some of these kids, like if they want to further their grappling education, they can come and train at our academy.
Nice. And that's a
Yeah,
good branch out too, because obviously if they're picking up on it or enjoying it, and they tell mom and dad about it, that that's the next step. It's like let the parents know, and you see more parents wanting their kids to get into it anyway these days. So it's already that first step, that head start,
exactly.
if you will.
I just saw the other day. I was just scrolling through my timeline and I seen like one a person I went to high school with was like asking where they could get their kids into jiu-jitsu at, and I was like, yeah, it's like it's a smart move, it's like super smart
Yeah,
move.
I've seen a few, or I've run into a few old classmates just on random. They ask about it. I'm like, hey, where you live at? And like we have three different gyms. It's like usually, especially out back in their home. And it's like, oh, head over to Elk Ridge. Like we got you. Like go ahead, walk in. You know, we got some great coaches over there. It's always nice when you see, you run into an old face, and then if they're into it or if they want their kids into it, something like that, it's always a good feeling.
Oh yeah, man, I love it. I love when the community grows, especially if it's like people that you knew, or then they saw you get into it and saw what it did for you. So then that like entices them to want to join even more. Outside of like the physical aspects of it, because it's great physical to get physical. I mean, but at the same time, when I say that, I also do realize like after a certain age, if you're only doing jujitsu and you're not like working out or like trying to do something to keep your body together, it definitely will wear and tear on you for sure, dude.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. I found that out. I started later in life. I think I was like 36, maybe 37. I think I was
Hey,
37
applause
when
though.
when I
Applause though.
I mean 10 years right now. So, you know, but I started at 37. Well, like actually like signed up for a gym. I did a trial. I want to say at like 35 or 36, and I enjoyed it. I just wasn't sure if I was ready.
Yeah.
And then at that time though, I was bulky. Like I was like, muscles coming out my teeth. I was just like, because I was playing football and just doing other sports and stuff. And I got on the mats, and at that time, I was like, those muscles don't mean nothing for you out here. We about to choke you right now. I was like, oh, like, this isn't cool. I got choked by a kid that weighs 120 pounds. So I stopped lifting the way that I was lifting and focused a lot on jiu-jitsu when I could. And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, now I got to like kind of piece it all back together because
Right.
I went so
Yeah.
heavy one way, and I'm like, oh shit. Like you do have to kind of combine it. So yeah, you gotta add weightlifting, and keep your body, in shape, keep your body strong.
Right. Or at least some like plyometrics, really. That's what I've been thinking about getting into is like some body weight
Mhm.
exercises just to see how that works. Because at the same time, like when it comes to lifting, I feel like there's a injury risk there too. Like, just as bad or just as great as jiu-jitsu. You lift the
Well, yeah, I
wrong
mean, you
way
don't
or
have to lift
get too
heavy though.
much. Right. Very true. Very, very true. Very true.
'Cause, like right now, I'm doing like relatively lightweights in my basement, kettlebells, stuff like that, and
Kettlebells rule.
you know, those are the things that I keep in mind because again, like I actually got rid of my bench just so I wouldn't be like tempted, to start going crazy. And I was
Mm.
like, let me see if I could bench 300 like fucking 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
Let me see if I could squat like, 350, this many times. I was like, no, I don't want any of that in my basement. I want to get rid of all of it. Well, at least the bench. I kept the weights, and there's only so much I could really do with the weights anyway without the bench. So, um, but yeah, I mean, you can, yeah, body weight. I mean, really any kind of body movement where you're strengthening your body, works. Whether it be body weights, whether it be kettlebell, you know, free weights, cables, bands, just stay strong. Because if you're not strong, you get out there on the mat, you hear a snap. It's almost always
Brother.
related to being weak somewhere else.
Dude, speaking of snaps, you probably can't tell on the camera, but I'll have to and really, realistically, you really can't even tell now. It's much better. But what would you call that if my thumb stretched all the way to my wrist? What is that called?
Double jointed.
No, like, cause I'm not that. It
Oh,
definitely like it broke or whatever. But what do you call that? Like a
oh,
hyperextension or a
hyperextended. Yeah.
dislocation?
Yeah. I think
That's
like
what happened to me.
hyperextended. Oof. The,
Like
uh,
my range of motion in my thumb now is not as good as on my other side, or my grip strength. Like if I grab, you could just pull away super easy. It's like I don't know. I need to do something rehab, I
I mean, I
guess.
don't know about that one at that point. It's like, what, I mean, I guess, yeah, strengthen it from what you got at this point because
Right?
the damage is
With
done.
what I
Like,
can, right?
I don't know if you can see my right hand here, my ring finger. That
Ah,
it's
on your right hand, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
it's
you can't
it's
straighten
turned the
that thing,
wrong
huh?
way. Nah, it's turned.
Oh my God.
It's almost it's like The Exorcist. It's almost backwards.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, brother.
I
That's from
I
jiu-jitsu?
had yeah, I had someone's sleeve and they yanked it away. And normally, if I have a good strong grip, I'm okay. Even if they break the grip, my fingers are still pretty okay. But I wasn't ready. Like I just grabbed on and I was about to like kind of tighten up. He yanks away, and my finger and you can see like the direction that it's turned. It went down, and um in the moment, yeah, it sucked. But you got your adrenaline, so you're just kind of still going with it. And
Yes.
then
Same. Same.
yeah, over the time, like I did something. Was it? I don't know. One of my hands. I know I went for a takedown, landed the takedown, but someone landed on my fingers and they bent backward. But it healed. After a couple months, it was healed. This one, it's been when this happened. I want to say somewhere like maybe early February, maybe. Um,
This
and
year?
yeah. And I've been like, you know what? My wife was like, you got to go to the doctor and get that looked at. And so it happened to my pinky in football on the same hand. It's the pinky is somewhat straightened out now, somewhat. Uh,
Right.
versus the other pinky that actually straightens out. Like, but she was like, yeah, you're gonna have them like break it and reset it. I was like, break your mother's finger, you get the fuck out of my face. You fucking doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Not again.
so so when she told me for this time, she was like, "Oh, you got to go to the doctor." I was like, "I ain't going." No, she was like, "No, they're gonna have to like set it back in place." I was like, "No, we'll be all right." The other one healed, right? She was like, "Yeah, after like 9 years." I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." This when I'm 56, it'll be straight. It'll be good. All right, so bad, but it's uncomfortable for sure. It feels a lot better. But yeah, same problem. I can't really grip like when when during training, I use basically my thumb, my middle, and my ring finger or index finger for all my gripping, and it's not even strong. It's just kind of there to be a nuisance, but they're getting out of that grip quick. Like at that point, I'm just shooting an underhook and just like, you know what, I got to bully this dude now because I can't even like grip him up right now. But it's all right. I got 10 fingers, so it's all right. You lose one
Right.
or two. It's like as long as you don't lose a whole hand.
What are your thoughts on this? What is it? This debate that's going on with is it conventional training or something like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What
like
is
the
it?
ecological training
Yeah,
versus
yeah. Like, what is what are they even like? What's even the debate there? You know?
all right. So stand by. Let me pull something up so I can get some details here because
Okay.
I've I've questioned that as well. And I didn't question it enough to care because sometimes shit happens and I just don't care. It's like, I just want to go train.
No, I
So
feel you. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. I think it is right, ecological or whatever the hell you were
yeah, I know
saying.
that. Yeah, the ecological training is the one because I've got memes ready. I just haven't put them up yet. All right. So, according to the internet's traditional training, so you got your warm up and everything, your technique, then you do your reps, and then you kind of go to your uh situational, and then you do some live rolls later on. Whereas like ecological, it sounds like it's more uh the structure is more like instead of doing like a breakdown of the move or whatever, you just kind of go into it, like basically more play based, live scenario drills, stuff like that. Um, and it's not really any isolated drilling. It sounds like so. Um, look,
Hmm.
my whole feeling on it is do what works for you. I
Right.
think we
Boom.
we
I
have a
like that. That's pretty
we have a
simple.
big problem in our society where not just here in the US, but I think just in general as a people, we are tribal. And we, especially now with the internet and social media, we get into these pockets where you want to pick one or the other. No one wants to believe that either or can work. Like, or everyone wants to believe it's either one or the other. No one wants to believe that they both can work for, different situations. Or let's say you do more ecological training and that works for you, so be it. Like no one should try to tell you that you have to do traditional. So my feeling has, as it stands, is what works for you is what works for you. I'm more of a traditionalist personally, but if I went somewhere and they said do some eco training or we're gonna do an ecological approach, so be it. That's what we're gonna do. So that's my take on it.
That's a great take, man. You know what? In the beginning, as soon as you like put it out there, I was like instantly about to be like, nah, I don't like that. And then I was just like, well, that's just a personal preference, though. You know, like that's my opinion.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take that route. However, I could see that working for others. If that's the route they
yeah.
want to take, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know that it would necessarily work for me because I don't like the ideal of Like, let's say I walk in and they say, okay, like, so what I do like is I like to warm up. Like for warm ups, I like the warm up to be, part of what we're going to be working on that day. So if we're going to be doing knee cuts, let's do a warm up, a drill that's going to incorporate, something that's going to be part of that movement,
Right.
versus like, hey, let's run around the mat. Let's shrimp up the mat. Let's do forward rolls up the mat, backward rolls up the mat. All right. Let's, whereas like our Friday night no-gi class is mostly wrestling and a lot of takedowns. So, we do, we shoot our penetration stuff. We do down blocks, for the rest of our warm-ups, we're doing duck unders and drilling double leg, single leg, high crotch, stuff like that, arm drags, but we're doing things that we're going to be working on later on in class. So I do like that aspect of, if you're going to do kind of a warm up, make it connected to what you're going to be learning later on versus kind of the traditional go jog around and then do some high knees,
Right.
some kickbacks.
Right. Some skipping,
Those are
something like
important,
that.
but it's like, give me stuff that's going to pertain to what I have to do later on. But I also still like the ideal of, okay, now we're going to be working on knee cut. Let's go over the steps of the knee cut and then drill it and then do a situational and then go to live rolling. So I don't know. And you can blend them, that's again the problem. Everybody wants to like one or the other. It's like, dog, like, it's not the end all be all for one or the other, dude. Sometimes you can just like take elements that work from here and elements that work from there and make a thing. But so many people
Right.
get set up in this mindset of my way is better or that way sucks. And it's like, yo, y'all are fucking immature. Grow up. And it's terrible if
Give
I'm
you
calling you
all the
immature because
ways.
I'm immature. I'm the most immature. Like when I saw the debate about it, I was like, what are people
Where did it
arguing
even
about
start?
now?
Like, who's even like? Is there like a good gym or a group or a good not they don't have to be a competitor, just even a good hobbyist or someone that's done it for a long time that's like backing that? Because like it almost seems like jiu-jitsu is getting a little woke now. It's starting to flood in a little. Like, no, you
Yeah,
can't do it that way. You have to do it this way. What?
well, and that's the whole thing that gets me is like, I mean, look, if your gym does it that way, cool. I also kind of subscribe
Right,
to the
to each his
ideal
own.
of, it's like, if your gym does something a certain way and you believe it's the best way, go to a competition then and test it.
Ooh, hey,
And if
I
it,
mean,
you know, like
actions speak louder than words.
yeah, I mean, I talk big shit about where I train at. You know, I say it on a lot of episodes. I talk a lot of shit because our guys and gals go out there, they compete, they do great. You know, they do very well, and it's not even just about winning and losing on on the mats and competition. It's like also great sportsmanship. They're a great team to each other. So I think that's the thing that's kind of important in all that too. Is like, okay, you got a system that works. I'm glad that it does. Go out there and prove it on a competition mat, do it, and then also, be cool about it. Don't be Cobra Kai. Don't be out there sweeping the leg. Go out there, win, gracefully, and then
Right?
be a good sport in winning or losing, whichever or, and just
Let the
stop
Conor
stop.
McGregors be Conor McGregors.
Oh my god, yeah, because that's I, I'm glad
Mm,
that I well let me slow down there. Well, I'm glad it's gone, but it's not gone because people are still trying to emulate it. But it's
man,
dying down.
his downfall though, such a like. There's that Netflix special they had on him, and you like get to see the come up. I almost
Hmm.
feel bad for him. Like no one was really there to, or I don't know if there was or not, but it didn't seem like it. No one was there to like say, "Hey, bro, what the hell are you doing?" Like, I think you should not be doing these things. Like, who was no one? You know what I mean? It just makes
Yeah,
me wonder if you just had a bunch of yes people around him, yes, bunch of yes guys, yes women. You
definitely.
know, like
Because
man,
I think that's how that goes, though, right? It's like once you start
right?
making that move, once you start like really growing and expanding, it does become that. It's like, okay, you got some folks that might get in your ear and try to like tell you, hey, maybe don't buy that extra yacht. And you got somebody else like, dude, definitely buy the extra yacht because you already want to buy the yacht anyway. So you're going to
Right.
go with the people that are going to
Right.
kind of confirm what you wanted to do versus someone that says don't buy it, and
Right.
then
You're
you
like,
don't buy
yeah,
the
I don't
yacht.
need that guy around.
Yeah. So, and I mean, do what you do, but also too, it's like with Conor. Is I was just talking with my buddy about this recently. The whole thing with Conor, and the question is, it's like the Conor mystique. Is it still a thing? Because Conor hasn't won since what 2021, maybe
And
2020.
who was that? Who was that even? Was that
I
Cerrone?
think it was yes.
Golly, brother. That's
Um,
crazy.
and the thing is, it's like there's still this thing is like, well, if you put Conor's name on a card, he has to main event. Number one, number two, you put Conor's name on a card, he's getting the pay-per-view cut. You put Conor's name on a card, everybody's going to tune in. And then the question is like, well, why is everybody tuning in though? What are we tuning in for? Because like he hasn't really been, in his fight with Khabib. I mean, he got tapped. He did still
Right.
around, I think. I won't even say still around, but he didn't get
He
dominated.
looked good for a portion. He looked good for a
Yes.
portion. For like a small portion of the fight though.
Yes.
Not even a
It,
full
it was
round.
very small. Yeah, yeah. It was enough where you could say, okay, we can argue that round. I don't think he won it, but you could argue it at least because he
Yeah.
didn't get dominated.
Right.
When he fought Dustin, you look at that and it's like, so that second Dustin fight, I do think in that first round, he was getting the better of Dustin.
Yeah. I'll
And
have to rewatch it.
then he broke his leg. He was like, uh,
Is
like,
that where he had the bald head? Is that fight?
I don't remember.
Man.
I would
Because I
argue to
know
say,
one where he KO'd him, obviously.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think that was where he had the shaved head. I think that's where he got KO'd. But in that second fight though, he was getting the better of Dustin, I thought at least, and then he broke his leg. So I mean,
It's honestly been so
maybe
long I can't even recall. I just remember him breaking that leg and like still running his mouth like, brother,
yeah.
hush. You're like
Well,
you can't even fight.
I think that was the thing though too. I think after he lost that first fight, because he was a different Connor. He was super nice. He was gracious. They were talking about donating to each other's charities, stuff like that. And then after he lost, people are like, "Oh, because you didn't talk shit, you lost the fight. You lost that fighting yourself. That dog is gone." So the second fight, no matter what happened, I think his plan was to talk shit, no matter what,
Yeah.
win or lose.
He
He's
went
going to
out
be
on the
talking
shield.
shit.
He
And
did go out
and,
on
and
that
I
shield.
I don't even know what that's about, just in general with people, because people like love that. They love a shit talker. Or like personally, I don't. I hate a shit talker.
Me
Like
too, man.
I, I'll
Me
talk shit with
too.
my friends in a playful way, but we know we're friends, we're playing. But
Right, exactly. But like
y-
sportsmanship type stuff, nah, I don't like
yeah,
that. I don't like it. I know it can
yeah,
be part of the game
be
though,
cool.
because you can use it as a tactic to like get in your
Hmm.
opponent's head. But at the same
Yeah,
time, I won't start it. I'll tell you that much. I definitely won't start it. But if
yes,
you start it, oh, we good. We can go there. We can go
yeah.
there.
Like I'm definitely not gonna be the one to start it. But if you start with me, I'm doing like extreme research. I'm finding about I'm gonna look into your great
Clarence,
grandparents.
you
Yeah, I'm going 8 Mile on you.
hear me?
Like, it's gonna get bad.
Oh shit.
You're like, Papa Doc. Nah, son, not today. Your name is Clarence. Um, like I'm just not
Oh,
into the shit
dude.
talking. It's like first off, I got like bad anxiety, so it's not something that's gonna rattle me and throw me off. But it's like if you shit talk me, it's like okay, like
Now I'm gonna
I
hurt
think
you.
I'm supposed to say it back. Like, am I supposed to talk shit back? Well, like as a kid, I didn't talk shit. I would just hit people. So I
Right?
can't be
Yeah,
in a fight
exactly.
game. Like, because in the fight game, that's the whole point. You're supposed to hit each other. It's like, so once you start talking shit in the fight game, I'm like, I'm really
Why are we
confused. I'm like,
talking?
whoa, like, wait a minute. Like, I'm gonna hit you. Well, yeah, that's the point. You're supposed to hit me. Huh? Am I? Like versus if like we're on the playground, and you talking, she was like, all right, I'm just beat this kid up. It's like because like that's that's the next step in evolution, I guess, right? Like, oh, you talking about my grandma,
Right now
dude?
we
I'm
gotta
about to
throw
put you in a
hands.
trash can.
You don't know my grandma.
Yeah, like yeah, my grandma will fuck
Yeah,
you
that's
up.
one thing that I like, at least for right now, with my brand sponsoring, like I am not trying to just sponsor anybody. Like I want people to be a good representation of the brand. So like if you're an athlete that's running your mouth out there, or just trying to really do the Conor McGregor, like I don't want to sponsor those guys. I don't, or those
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Those are the folks who I guess. I mean, again, though, they have this ideal of like because Connor kind of made the point of like the more shit you talk, the more exposure you get, the more exposure you get, the more money you get, and that's fine on that level. But when you're like, there's a video, it'd been going around for a while. I haven't seen it this year at least, where there's an amateur fighter. Look, he modeled his look after Connor, everything. He was basically trying to be Connor. He's like talking big shit. He's getting in his opponent's face at the weigh in, at the stare down. He's like putting his forehead on him and everything.
Dang.
That dude got worked out. Like his opponent was like super nice and humble and beat the diggity dog shit out of him. And it was like,
Don't
dude, it
you
was
love that
so
though? Don't you
rewarding.
love that?
Like, I don't know how many times I watched that video. It was just like, oh my god, like look at this guy, asshole.
Right? Right? Like get put in your place, man. Which leads me to say, in the beginning, like when Connor did lose to Habib, I was happy. I was like, yeah, like shut up, bro. Shut up. And then
Yeah,
even when he broke his leg against Dustin, I was just like, dude, like, that's like more, you just keep running your mouth and bad things keep happening. But then all his out of the ring trouble just made me
uh-huh.
think that there's like, like I said, every his community or his surroundings are not helping at all. It's just like,
I
bro,
agree.
and then
Yeah.
it's sad. And it's like, man, I hope he gets better. I hope he bounces back. At least has one more win in the UFC, maybe if he can. I don't know if that's even likely at all. If he even fights again.
So there was something recently Dana White said he hasn't even talked to Connor in so long. I think they said he's not in the testing pool right now. So it doesn't sound like he's coming back anytime soon. So, and honestly, like I said, the mystique baffles me at this point. Where people are like, oh my god, it's Connor. We got to see him fight. I guess it's kind of equal to the Mike Tyson mystique to some degree. You know,
Yeah, because that was a
but
thing for a while.
mhm, yeah, I think though the thing with Connor though, it's like okay, well look, we get it. You did the things. Um, I think also though too in MMA there is a way to shield fighters and keep them from certain competition. He ended up having to fight Chad Mendez on short notice. I think Chad had like 10 days, and Chad's a wrestler. And Chad gave him a little bit of problems in that first round.
I remember
Connor
that. That
ended
was an
up
awesome
stopping him
fight,
in the
though.
second,
Yeah,
but Chad
that was a great
also
fight.
like he wasn't really, he came in on short notice. So it's one of those things where it's like if Chad had a full camp, maybe that's a different fight, perhaps. And what was it like? It seemed like I mean, and Connor beat everybody that was put in front of him. But one thing that never sat right with me was like after he knocked out Jose Aldo, like, and I know people will say, oh well, he knocked him out in 13 seconds, so Jose doesn't deserve a rematch. Mm, I mean, you didn't really get to see a fight because I think you get Jose in there and fight Connor a full fight. You know, Connor ain't like yes, the shit talking got in Josie's head, and that's what we're talking about. Though that's part of the warfare. It's part of the game. It got him,
It is. It did.
but we're talking about a dude who's undefeated for 9 years. Hasn't lost in 9 years. He gets clipped, knocked down in 13 seconds. All of a sudden, it's like you know everybody just forgets that he ever existed. It bugs me whenever they talk about like the featherweight greats or like Volk is the greatest featherweight ever, and it's like did y'all forget Joe Rogan of all people? I was like, dude, did you forget Jose Aldo was a thing? Like, like,
Like Prime Aldo beat Prime Bulk.
yeah, I mean,
I it's a close fight, but I think he gets him.
like, like Volk. Like, I think Volk is great, but I would have loved to have seen. And I'm gonna do what I don't like. I don't like the hypotheticals. It's like these guys in their prime. Like I don't like those conversations. But I mean, again, thinking about Volk and Jose in their primes fighting each other, I think that's a really close fight. And
Without a doubt.
I honestly I want to say Jose, but I think Volk be a little stronger. Not even a little stronger. I think he's stronger. Um, and maybe a little more durable. So maybe Volk possibly is, but it's just I don't know. I feel just really like people just write Jose Aldo off because he gets knocked out by Conor when we had this new wave of MMA fans come in. So they didn't get to see Jose Aldo fights. They only started watching when Conor started fighting. So all they know is Conor and beyond.
Right.
And and I was a fan of Conor. But once these new fans came in, I was like, oh my God, you guys are obnoxious. Fuck that guy. Like, I don't know.
Changed the game, man. He definitely changed the game. It's crazy. It's crazy how much he changed.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to someone a few months back about like the waves. Like, you had the original wave, and then you had like the 97 wave, and then the 2002 wave, then that 02 to 05, which 05 then started the like what we're kind of currently in when the Ultimate Fighter hit Spike TV. And that's where it started to really, really pick up. And then the Fox contract hit, and now everybody's getting to see MMA. But during that wave, at least from the 05 wave, you had a run of champions where Matt Hughes lost to GSP, within that window of time. And then you get GSP, you get Anderson Silva coming over from Pride. You had the light heavyweight got weird because that belt was kind of rotating through everyone at that time. But once Jon Jones got it, it was like, okay, that it stayed there until, he, did what Jon Jones does. Heavyweight, we had Brock and then Kane. So, you had a good run there. Then you had your lower weights with Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo, BJ Penn, and then Frankie Edgar. So, you had champions that like stood and fought anyone that got in front of them. Now you're getting champions who are like, they get the belt and they're like, oh, I clean out the division after like fighting two dudes. And then they're like, I'm going to move up to the next weight class. And it's weird. Like, I don't even know what's going on with featherweight and lightweight and now welterweight now. Cause I think Topuria dropped the belt.
Yep.
And then Volkanovski fought and won. And then, I guess, Ishmael.
Yep.
Is it Ishmael or
Islam?
Yeah, Islam dropped the belt. He moved up to welter, and now Taporia's fighting Oliveira for the lightweight. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, dude. It's confusing.
I wanted to see Islam and Topuria fight, honestly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that fight. I mean, that it's like he moved up for that, and according to him, he said that he was promised a title fight moving up, and it sounded like they weren't going to give it to him. But then, Islam moved up, and it's like, okay, I guess he is going to get his title fight. So maybe they knew Islam was moving up too. So maybe Topuria says, you know what, fuck that, I'll chase him. Like, I want this fight, and go for it.
So did Jon Jones retire? I think I saw that earlier today. Is he done or no?
I haven't really been online. Well, let me rephrase it. I've been online, but I haven't seen any MMA stuff online. I've been doing a lot of horror stuff today, so I haven't seen any MMA stuff. So I I haven't heard anything about that. Now I got to go investigate.
Yeah, dude.
Stand by.
Good, good. Because I'm like, I think he retired, man. I want to say he did. Say he
Oh,
did. I'm def-
Jon Jones.
I'm glad he did because at least we know now. Like we can move on. Good job, bro. I hate that he did, kinda, because I did want to see that fight, but I think it's smart. He just leaves, gets his legacy, and just stays gone.
So 12 hours ago, Jones eases fans' fears about UFC retirement following recent comments. So whilst out in Thailand, which I just posted a video of him in Thailand, he was in that Columbia Bam Bam out there on scooters. He was like, oh, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that dude's probably not coming back home. Um, Jones has been seen meeting up with Hasbullah, which which has, of course, frustrated the UFC fan base even further as there continues to be no news regarding his next fight. And despite Dana White's guarantee that Jones will fight this year, the consensus greatest fighter of all time then dropped a huge hint about his UFC retirement after he told an old teammate, "I'm done," during a FaceTime call that was caught on camera. Now, there needs to be more context to the "I'm done."
Right,
You know,
exactly.
he could just be like, "I'm done with this call," or "I'm done with dinner." You know, Bones' comments came just hours after he stated that he has told the UFC about his plans, questioning why they haven't made the fans aware yet. However, now just hours after claiming he's done, the 37-year-old champion has attempted to ease the fans' fears that he is retiring with the message on his social media. So when could Jon Jones return? So, because initially what I saw here was, why did Jon Jones retire? And then that was one of the things that popped up on Google. And then after continuing to delay, blah 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 blah. I look, I honestly, with Jon Jones, I was like, look, man, I'm kind of sick of him too. It's like like I'm a fan of him in the cage. I don't think he's a great human being, but I can separate the artist from the art, I guess. Um, but it's like either fight Tom Aspinall and get it over with one way or the other, or don't. But if you're not going to
Right.
fight him, then drop the belt and move on. But the thing is, afterward, if he retires without fighting him, it's always going to. And this goes with any champion, though. If they retire as champ, especially, there's always the talk. Well, you can't really consider yourself the greatest of all time because you ducked this person, you never fought that person. Like, yeah, but they beat the shit out of everybody else that they
Right. Like
fought.
fighting for freaking ever.
So, I mean, like Juliana Pena, complained about Amanda Nunez retiring after Amanda beat the shit out of her. It's
Right.
like, oh, she was just running from me. No, baby, she just took your lunch money.
He decided not
Like,
to.
she was showing you mercy by retiring. She didn't want to beat you up again. So, but it's like there's always going to be shit talking when somebody retires on top. It's like, well, they never, did this or they never did that. I was like, they pretty much did everything they needed to do. I mean, you didn't hear that with John Elway when he won back-to-back Super Bowls and retired. Everybody was like, oh, well, he didn't play against Brady. Yeah, I mean, Brady was, a rookie. So you're right, and Brady was on the bench at that point. So you're right, he didn't. But why does it matter? They did what they needed to do during the time that they were doing it, and they won. Yeah, it would be great to see John fight Tom. That'd be awesome.
Uh,
Um, I mean, John's a smart dude in there, so I'd like to think that he would have something for Tom. Tom's a big boy.
he is, and
That-
he's quick. He looks like he's
yeah,
quick.
that's a scary human. Like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine standing across the cage seeing that dude stand over there just licking his chops. So like, you know what? This ain't that serious, man.
Hey, hey,
I got shit to do.
big fella.
but I mean, like one part of me hopes he doesn't retire just because I want to see the fight, but the other part is I hope he does because I want the division to move on. Because when's the last time there was a title fight for the heavyweight title?
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? Well, the internet knows.
Did you by chance catch the fights this past weekend?
Mm-mm. I was actually so I saw the aftermath and I was like, oh shit, there are fights this weekend, which I shouldn't be shocked because there are fights every weekend. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and watch them. I was gonna watch them last night, but then I was sick as a dog, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to bed. But nah, like I heard Gilbert Burns got put down quick, and
Bro,
it's another changing right now. You know, the game has we're seeing heroes go down again.
what was do you know who fought Gilbert? That guy's name,
No, like
man,
I saw a video afterward. I guess it's an old video of the guy, and they're like, "This is the guy that knocked out Gilbert Burns," and it was like, "What the fuck?" It was like wearing like nails and makeup and shit. I was like, okay. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't beat people up, but like, like, what are we talking about here? Who beat up who?
dude. That's I gotta find that. But let me
Yeah.
tell you, man's power though. I'm telling you. I don't know if, but at the same time, I will say this: it looked like Gilbert didn't even really want to be in there. Like I don't know if he's tired of fighting or what, or if he was just not having a good night that night. But at the same time, I could just go into with that man's power still. There was a time the main punch that I saw, Gilbert was covered up and he hit him so hard he turned his whole body. Made Gilbert's
Jesus.
whole body turn. And I'm like, what? Like and then that was the beginning of the end, that punch right there. And then he just punched him out the rest of the way. But I'm just like, that's some power. That's some pretty I'd like to see him up against, there's some young bucks in that welterweight division, man. It's crazy. Some killers.
Mm-hmm.
Some killers.
And looks like Gil was a significant underdog, so it's like I don't know. Yeah, looking at the cards, like so I did see one chick one with paintbrush. I was like, huh, that's neat. You don't see that too often these days, especially with the gals. You know, it's usually like the heavyweights. You know, it's like, all right, I can't knock this dude out, so I'm just gonna go to a reliable and pull out an Americana. It's like, damn, you
Ain't him
know.
that.
But because yeah, I think I actually have that set on my queue to repost tonight. The one young lady went in with the paintbrush. I was like, huh, I don't see that every day. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
post that up there, get some clicks. You got to know how to use the social. Actually, I don't know how to use social media. It's like people are like, "How'd you get so many followers?" I don't know. That's a fact. Like maybe it's just like because I don't engage. I don't talk to people. Like when people comment on my stuff, I'm like, all right, cool. You just talk to a
But you
wall if
got
you want.
everything you post is good. Everything you repost is good.
I mean, I just go and snatch it from other people. I'm like, oh, hey, that looks. Well, no. So sometimes I'll see a post that I think is really, really good, and it has like 3 likes. I was like, yo, this deserves a little bit more attention. This deserves some love. And I'm hoping that maybe I can hit the algorithm with it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I know there are people that are like, there are all these tricks and tips you should be doing to like boost your engagement and the views on your posts. It's like, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm just gonna post stuff. And yeah, because the way I look at most stuff that I do, I know there are people that will disagree, and that's fine. You're free to do that. I don't care. You ain't my mama. But I don't do things under this ideal of like with social media. Yes, I know there's money to be made, but I don't want to stress myself out about that.
Right.
I'm not stress myself out over like posting a certain amount, and if I don't make X amount of money, then I'm gonna freak out. It's just like I'm gonna post and it's funsies. If it makes some money, cool. If it doesn't, I'm all right. But I'm gonna move on. With podcasting, same thing. People are like, you can make so much money podcasting with like ads and sponsors. I could, but I'm not pursuing a lot of that stuff. It's just because I never looked at any of this stuff as that. I just look at it like one of my teammates he just did my horror podcast recently, and he was like, "Do you like the Adam Sandler of podcasting? You just made like a platform so you can hang out with your friends." I was like, "That's exactly what it is. I just wanted to talk to my friends."
Dude,
'Cause,
that's the
like,
thing. Enjoy it, man. You know, like if you're not going to enjoy it, then why are you even do it? You know.
yeah, like when I started off the mats during COVID, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to do this." I'd been wanting to do a podcast anyway,
I did
but
not
during,
know, not know that. Sorry, during COVID.
yeah, coming up, I think this will be 6 years in August. I guess 5 years in August. Yeah, COVID was. Yeah, so yeah, 5 years. Um, like I started August of 2020, and things were kind of coming back to life, but things were still weird, and like folks weren't really trying to hang out. So I was like, well, look, let's talk on camera. you know, Yeah, let's make it weird. Let's talk on camera with our clothes on, and and like I always tell people, it's a phone conversation that other people get to listen in on. That's what I consider podcast, and at least with my friends, because like you and I, we're just sitting here talking MMA and just we're just chatting, we're kicking it, you know, and I don't look at like other podcasts, I don't look down on them because they do it a different format. I love a lot of other jiu-jitsu podcasts. The BJJ Babes, I love their podcast, especially. Well, her podcast. I don't know why I said they, but it was like when I see other jujitsu, content, it's like, that's awesome, dude. I applaud you. And I might even repost it, probably even because, that's what I do. Um, it's, I don't ever think of it as like a competition thing. I don't think of it as like I have to do this better than that person. I saw someone a while back, they had an off the mats YouTube channel, started a year and a half after I started this podcast. And I didn't get upset. I was just like, oh, cool. I hope they do well. I haven't heard anything further, so maybe, they didn't have the time to dedicate to it. But I don't know. I just look at all this shit as like fun time, And I know people are so like, well, you can still make money while having fun. You're right, I could, but then it becomes a job. And
Exactly.
that's not what I'm here for. I do a lot of shit and it feels like a job anyway, but at least I can like stop it. Like if I decide I don't want to post anymore, I don't want to do anymore, I can just stop. No one's relying on me. But
Right.
this is all fun and games. I listened to a horror podcast this morning called what Scream Queens Horror, and I love her format. Fucking awesome podcast, so
Really?
good. Like listening to her podcast, I was like, I love it, but I couldn't do my podcast that way because I'm very chaotic and disorganized. And whenever I have guests on to talk about specific movies, we just talk shit. And then we talk about the movie a little bit, but we still talk shit. Like we just did Get Out. We did it's going to be coming out June 6th. And
I
we
love.
do talk about some of the themes and stuff in that movie, but it's really me and my buddy Ricky. We're just talking a lot of shit, a whole lot of shit. Sometimes we're not even talking about the movie. Like so, and it's like that's why I like my podcast, because it's mine and I can do my thing. Whereas like the Scream Queens podcast, it's awesome. I love her format. I actually might ask her to be a guest on mine, but I have to let her know. It's like, look, we're going to talk a lot of shit. And it's not going to be organized, but we're going to get our point across, like
Right.
eventually.
Have you seen the horror movie? I think it's called The Woman in the Yard. Have you seen? It's a new. It just came out.
I have not seen it yet. I'm aware of it. I just haven't seen it yet. I don't think it's out on
Oh,
streaming or anything, but I
worth-
know it was in theaters recently.
you think it's worth a watch?
Um, so I haven't heard a lot about it. I've saw one person, but it's the internet, so you know how that goes. One person said it was a waste of their time. And I don't trust that. I don't trust that review though, because they didn't really say why they didn't like it. And that's very important to me. Is like, if you don't like something, you got to tell me why you don't like it.
Right.
Like if you're like saying you critiquing something, give me what was wrong with it that took you out of it. Like Sharknado 6, Metal Sharks, it took me out of it. And the fact that Tara Reid was still in it. So I was like, fuck. Like we just can't get any worse, can it? Oh, she's still here. Never mind. It can. But like I would check it out. I'm going to check it out when I get the opportunity. But I just haven't heard a whole lot about it one way or the other than that one comment. Um, but it looks interesting. But a lot of these movies are relatively formulaic. So there's a predictability that comes to it. And the unfortunate thing is with a lot of movies today, not just horror, but most movies, we go into it now with this like, are we really watching the movie for enjoyment, or are we watching the movie to try to figure it out? Because if you're
Mm,
going in just to figure it out, you're not going to really enjoy it. So, and that's part of
right,
the problem with a lot of these movies that are formulaic. They kind of set you up to try to figure it out. And it's like, I don't want to figure it out. Just tell me the story. Um,
right.
so like,
Give me the movie.
yeah, just give me the movie and let's get it on. Like I think this weekend we're going to record an episode on the recent movie called Companion, and it was fun. It was enjoyable. The trailer was kind of misleading, which I liked.
Is that where they mesh together, or they're like starting to like mold
Oh
one person?
no, that's the Substance. If I think that's what you might
What?
be talking about. Companion is there's a guy who has a companion doll, or as some would call a sex doll. It's a robot, an AI interfaced robot that is his companion, and they don't know that they're a robot. So they have implanted memories and everything. But I see. I don't want to say anything to kind of give it
Yeah.
away.
Now I'm watching
But
that. Crazy.
yeah, it's on HBO or Max or whichever it's called now. I don't know what they call it anymore. HBO
What?
Max. I think they're going back to HBO Max.
Oh my god.
But yeah, check it out. It's interesting because I thought it was going to lead one way just based off the trailer, and I was like, oh, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be, and it was quite enjoyable. So actually, after we record here, I'm actually going to go do my outline for that and get some notes together, because we're recording that this weekend, and I have two other guests that are going to do the Nosferatu episode for me. I'm not going to be on that one, but they're going to do it instead. So um but yeah, that like I said, all these podcasts are just basically reasons for me to hang out with friends. I do my beer review podcast every Friday night just to sit with my friend and drink a beer. That's really all it is. Like, we share beer and we talk shit about sports and move on with life. So when people are like, you could be making so much money off of this, you're right, I could. But
Right.
then money
Yeah.
complicates things.
Right. That it does, dude. That it does.
Yeah. But I'm also not a money person. Like, DuckTales kind of fucked me over with that. The episode called The Island of Tra-La-La. That's the episode that did it. When Scrooge was allergic to his money and
Oh,
they sent him to the island where like money wasn't a thing, and they worked off the barter system and everybody was happy.
huh.
I was like, holy shit, that's a thing. It wasn't. You know, I was 11 or 10 or some shit when I saw this, but I was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, here we are now. Money rules everything,
Right.
Praying
Man.
cash
Ugh.
rule everything around me.
Right. Dollar
Um,
bill, man.
so that's why I'm always very like hesitant about money stuff, because it it fucking ruins friendships a lot too. So it's like I don't know, like guests that come on a podcast, they're like, hey, we want to buy a shirt. I'm like, I should just take one. Just fucking take it. But here, what you can do though is go give your friends the link and have them buy it. But if you're a guest on the show, you get one. Just but I don't know. I'm just really fucking weird about money. Like, I don't like, if society didn't make me care about money, I wouldn't. I'd like, if I didn't have a family, truthfully, I would actually go to Bass Pro Shop, buy a tent, and go fucking live in the woods. Because
Right.
that, like, I be seeing people at like in the woods. Like, I drive past like the exits and see like tents every so often. I'm like, oh shit. Like, yo, what's going on there? I want to go knock on that guy. Like, I want to go like tap on that zipper. Like, yo, what's going on, son? Like, what y'all doing? Y'all playing Xbox?
Yeah. Dude, you could do that now. Hey, for sure.
Yeah.
I saw like selling some solar panels, some a mobile solar panel, like mobile charging station for like $50 on Amazon. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, some time ago that would have been like next level technology worth hundreds. Now it's 50 freaking bucks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's
A lot
crazy.
of this shit is just like we're such a strange place where it's like I have I just got an action figure in today. And why do I have an action figure? Well, because I had a disrupted childhood and I'm trying to recapture it. That's why I have a basement full of action figures for those who want to know. But I got an action figure in today and I started really thinking. I was like, do I need this? No, I absolutely don't need it. How would my life be different if I didn't have all these action figures? Eh, eh. I'd spend it on something else. But as I like to say to my grandma when she makes comments about it, I say, well, grandma, it's not heroin. So, you know,
uh, case closed.
yeah, and usually she backs off after that. She's like, yeah, she's like, you're right, and then she just stops talking about it.
What action
Yeah.
figure was it? I'm asking, man.
Um, Marvel Legends Maximum Spider-Man.
Mm.
So it's got a lot of flexibility, a lot of articulation, a lot of accessories that came with it. So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll order it. It costs a little more than the others. And I was messaging with my buddy before we started recording, and he was asking questions. And I explained to him, he was like, is it bigger? I was like, no, it's the same scale as the others that I have. It was like, but it came with all these accessories. So that's why it costs more. And, it's one of those goofy things where it's like, this is what happens when I have money. This is why I can't have money because I buy stupid shit for no reason. Like, there's no reason for me to have that. Like my daughter has counted all my Spider-Man figures down here. I think I have like 33 Spider-Man figures. So it's not necessary.
Something
Like
I'm
none of these things are.
that what I would consider similar is I'm about to go rebuy like I think it's a Sega Dreamcast, and I'm gonna try to
Mm-mm.
this zombie video game that like I could not beat to save my life as a kid, dude. There was nothing I could do to beat it. And I'm like, I bet I could beat it now. I'm an adult. I think I could beat it now. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go buy
Yeah.
this console just to get the game, just so I can beat it.
I said that about Super Mario Brothers. I'm an adult. I can beat it now. I can't beat it still. I still can't beat Super Mario Brothers. I can beat all the other Super Mario Brothers, but I can't beat
Another level.
like that first Super Mario Brothers on the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
That
I
great.
still can't beat it. It hurts.
Said it hurts.
Like, but I could beat every other Mario Brother game like with no issue. But the first one, I struggle. I just can't. It's like I get to level 8 and I get stuck. I just can't like do anything. And I don't know. I don't even know what it is because it's really a timing thing. It's like just time the jump. As soon as he jumps, run under him. And no, can't do it. I just can't figure it out. So I don't know. But look, man, I I applaud you for taking a risk and going for it again. I believe in you.
It's called Zombies Ate My Neighbors. If you're interested to check it out, it's a video game on Sega. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
I do remember that. I've never played it, but I remember
I
seeing like a commercial or an ad in a comic book.
loved it. Loved it.
I think, yeah, if I had a bunch of money, I would just pretty much do stuff to like kind of try to fill in those gaps of my childhood that I broke. Or I didn't break them, but it's like I got a basement full of action figures. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm pretty happy. I don't think I need more money. I think I'm pretty okay. Like I got
Hell yeah.
everything I want. My daughter's happy. My wife is happy. I'm having, honestly, I would like to have just emergency money. So, for like podcasting equipment. That's all. Um, I know you said that you haven't competed since November. Uh, is there any like look to later on this year potentially to compete?
Yeah, definitely. Probably more toward like September to December though. Yeah. Because I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling and I'm really busy with the brand, man. I'm really trying to get this brand off. I just have this vision in my brain and it's more of like a legacy thing. I want to be able to leave something to my daughter or to any of my other kids. Or, like I said, more of like a legacy thing. And I'm trying to build it behind the brand. I feel like.
Sure. So with the branding in itself, I know you say you have like a track athlete, and then you have one grappler, um, you know, under brand right now or being sponsored. Like, besides that, is there any thought of like looking at other athletes or different sports besides like combat sports? And like I said, I know you got track. Like, is there any thoughts of like reaching out to someone that's doing basketball or football or even boxing, even though
Yeah,
that is combat sports still.
any of those. Any of those. What I just did recently is I'm a part of like a marketing Facebook page where it's like a bunch of businesses just go on there and try to market or advertise. And so I went on there and was like, hey, I'm looking to sponsor. And like currently, that's one of my goals is to like sponsor like a little league team, any sport. Just and that's what I'm trying to do right now. I really just now really put that out there though as far as today. So, but I haven't heard anything back just yet. But I'm sure within the week before Friday, I'll hear something back from somebody. I'd imagine.
Sure. Um, for the designs for like the apparel and stuff, like how do you come up with that? Because I know for me, I'm a super basic person, so whenever I look at the stuff that I don't like, maybe it's too basic.
Well, I would say my designs are pretty basic, but I try to keep it around like a inspirational, so that way it's not I'm not boxed in to any particular sport or even any sport at all. Like you could just be somebody with a desk job that needs motivation because that's the brand name is Moetivate, and so you can just wear the brand, right? Like for instance, some small words that we use would be like fearless or unstoppable or undisputed or undefeated or legend. But then we also try to use like a new slang, like what should I be looking for? Like no cap. That's one that we have. Or built different. That's another one. That's a really big seller right now is the built different one. But that's just, simple words. We'll do like the logo and then the simple word on the back. But I've also lately added in images that can relate to those words and print those images on the back of the shirt as well.
Okay. Nice, nice. I like the ideal there. Just kind of, you know, when it comes to like designs for like shirts, especially, I always see so many cool ideals and just so many like neat things. I'm like, damn, dude, like that's so cool and so simple. Why didn't I think of that? It's like some shit that I know I would have like, you know, like I would have thought of that, but like my brain isn't tapped the same way. So it's like whenever I see like, like even the shirt you're wearing right now, Choke Dealer, is like, I'm like, dude, like I like it. And those things, it's like something so simple, but yet it's a conversation starter, number one.
Oh,
And number two, I mean, it is, there's a point to it. I mean, Danny Patrick, who's on Instagram, he sent me a shirt years ago. It says your mom's favorite grappler. He was saying that before Gary Tonin was saying it. And it's funny because it didn't really click in my head what that even meant until like recently. Because I wore it to an event like a kid's event.
great.
And I remember I was standing there and I looked down at it and I was like, oh shit. my kid's gonna get labeled as like the kid who they don't want their kids playing with because the dad doesn't play well with others, or the dad wears obscene shirts. So it's like, fuck. So that's another thought that goes to my mind now. Whenever I do a shirt, it's like I gotta make sure the shirt is appropriate. Because my daughter is like my biggest supporter. Like anytime I have a shirt, she wants it, and then she wears it everywhere. Like, my dad made this shirt. I'm like, huh, thanks, kiddo. So, um, but yeah, I dig the brand, I dig the ideal, and whatever I can do to help you let me know. Like, and don't be afraid to lean on me, because sometimes like I'll say, yeah, I'll repost something, and I get flooded with shit, so I forget a lot. And CTE is a thing, so I
Yeah,
definitely don't be remembering like.
stuff, man. I appreciate everything you've already done for me, brother.
Um, but yeah, no, and I mean, I definitely like what you got going on, and just you know, it's good like hearing from people and hearing like you're not like motivated by the idea of like I want to like have an empire and like everybody wants obviously to do well, and doing well you know will typically bring money. So that's not to say like, oh, you don't want money. Like, no, you do. But the ideal isn't like, hey, I want to earn all this money and become filthy rich. It's like, I want to help. I want to
Exactly.
sponsor athletes. I want to sponsor teams. I want to do things to help people, and that's the key, dude.
Dude, that like that leads me to want to say about that $1,000 I gave away. I can't lie though. I just want to be honest. It didn't feel great. It didn't feel great. I was just like, dang, I worked hard for this, but I already said I'm giving it away, so I'm just all right. But then after the fact, I was like, you know what though? Because it was like a random chick, but she had made quite a few purchases, like was liking the brand, so I was like, cool. So it felt even better that she was the one who won.
I mean, that's always super duper important, and it feels good, I bet.
Yeah, gave away the money, and she was just so ecstatic. It worked out the way it worked out because it was April 1st, April Fools. And so I
Oh,
to let her know, but I was like, it's not public because originally I posted on April 1st that I wasn't giving away the money, but that was like as a joke. And so she thought that it was an extra joke, me hitting her up and being like, yeah, you won. She's like, what? You're April Fool's joking me. She's like, well, I'm not going to believe it until you call me back tomorrow. Tell me again. It's like, oh my God. I ended up having to hit her back up the next day to like, it's real. It's real. You really won.
oh, good, good. I'm glad that I'm glad that someone who won was like one of the big supporters of the brand, because it's always it's good because it's like someone that's got your back, someone that shows like
Right?
they like the product, they trust the brand, and it's like a way of giving back, so good, good, good. And like, I know when I talk to you, like you're like always like just super chill, super grounded. Like, what goes into that? Like, what keeps you so like just chill, dude?
Man. Probably my daughter. Yeah, definitely my daughter. She just she's just so awesome, dude. She just makes me want to be a better person. And so like, I don't know. Just being around her, raising her up. It's made me a better person for sure.
Good. I mean, I think I like to think that most of us who become parents, that's got to be a big part of it. I'd like to think, because I think even like I just talked to an old buddy of mine yesterday, and we are joking because when we were growing up, we were some knuckleheads and got in a lot of trouble. And he was telling the stories like he was like, "Oh, I'm a changed man. I'm a lot more peaceful." It was like, you've been that way since you've had kids. It's like
Yeah,
that tends to do it. It's like
right.
like another buddy and I were talking about this shit a few weeks back. It's like, yeah, like, well, I think he says what's really helped me. He was like, yeah, you and Sarah, like Sarah's kept you grounded, and like she's kept you on earth. I was like, I mean, and then like he also attributes jujitsu. He's like, since you've been doing jujitsu, you've been a lot nicer. I was like, dude, it sounds like Like you got a new step for me each time we talk. There's something different that's made me nicer. But it's like ultimately I've just been a nice person. So, but having kids definitely, I think, really taps into us. So good, man. Good. All right. So before we get out of here, we're gonna go ahead and do a quick rapid fire. There's only 3 of them, so it's friendly. It's friendly. Um, Current favorite submission.
Ooh, probably for life, man. Always and forever. The rear naked choke. One arm though.
Yeah.
One arm rear naked
Oh,
choke.
that's disrespectful.
Love people never. Every time I catch somebody in it, they don't. They're like thinking it's not going to work, and then it's working, and then yeah, it's like the anxiety tackle does, like freaking out because it sets in, but they should
Yeah.
be ending early, but they think just because it's one arm, it's like oh it's
Hmm.
nothing. Oh no, give it a second.
That's why I think it's like, oh man, that's disrespectful because you got them. They're like, oh, I'm all right. Like you're not all right.
Yes,
Um, Most underrated position.
bottom of the mount, bottom of the mount.
I can agree with that. And then
I say that from a leg locker standpoint, though. I'm sorry, from a leg locker standpoint. I've just
true.
recently kipping, whatever the word is. And
Yeah.
man, once you get that down, I'm telling you, I just be letting people mount me so I can leg lock them, or try to at least. I can definitely get into the positions, even bigger guys.
Mm,
There's a way
noted.
to finesse it. There's a way you can finesse it. By like, if they're bigger, you could just kind of like lean off to the side a little and off balance them. And most people always put a leg up so they don't fall, which gives you all
Yes.
the stand on that bottom of the mount. I'll stand on.
Like I've never been good at like kipping. It's like once I'm there, it's like I don't have the energy. It's like I do like 3 and I'm like, all right, let's try something else. Like this shit ain't working for me. I'm tired.
Bro,
And then
like that for me for I'm telling you, I've been trying to get it down for like 2 years, and I just got it to where it's like, oh, okay. There's got to
like
be a better way for people to explain it when they're teaching it, though, because I myself can't explain what it was that made me bridge the gap.
I think what comes with it though too, like you said, you've been working on it for 2 years. Most folks are thinking like, oh, if I drill this, for a few weeks, I'll get it. Nah, doggy. Like you don't have to work on this joint for some time.
So many live fails, dude. So many fucking fails.
I mean, at least you're trying though. That's the key. Like, because if you ain't trying, then what are we really doing?
Right.
All right. And then last one, what's your go-to meal after training?
Ooh, carne de papa. It's a Hispanic dish. My wife is Hispanic. Carne de papa. It's like beef, potatoes, but there's a salsa. She makes a salsa that mixes into that, and man, it's great. You can put it in a tortilla. You can eat it like a soup. You could freaking yeah, it's great. I love it. Say it again. What's it called?
Nice,
Carne de papa. Carne de papa. Boom.
nice,
It's fine.
nice. You got all the staples in there anyway. You got the beef, so you got your protein in there. You got your potatoes, so you get your starch, your carbs in there. So all right, I see you. All right, but Mo, this has been awesome, dude. It's
Always, man.
we like we got to do it again, man. We gotta set this up and be more frequent about it. So it's just good conversations, fun time, and just chill session, man. I enjoy this. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. It was awesome. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem, man. Thank you for making the time. And before we get out of here, you got any shout outs or mentions you'd like to leave our listeners with?
And of course, first shout out Redline Jiu Jitsu. That's where I train in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's awesome. OKC metro area. If you're ever in the area, come give us a visit. Redline Jiu Jitsu. Also, Moetivate brand. That's the brand that I'm rocking. You can find us on Instagram at official Moetivate brand. It's spelled Moeivate brand. Of
I'll be
course,
sh-
off the mats
uh,
podcast. It's the best podcast around. One of them.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Of course, man.
I'll be sure to put your links in the show notes so that way everybody could catch up with you and find you and everything.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate it. Much love. Many blessings.
No problem, man. Thank you. And as always, to the listeners, thank you. We appreciate y'all. If y'all got any questions, concerns, criticisms, anything, you want to be a guest, reach out. Feel free to talk to me. I'm a nice guy. You can always find me at bjj.wiki on Instagram, Off the Mats Podcast on Instagram. Hell, I mean, you can even go find me on my horror podcast Instagram page. So You Like Horror. All the words separated by underscores. I want to give a big shout out to my crew over there at Nerd Rage Radio. Bobby, Chris, Joe, Marilyn, Phil, Ricky, Tiki, Farrell, all the fellas. Thank you to those guys. If it weren't for Nerd Rage Radio, I wouldn't be doing the podcast. So I really, really do appreciate them, and I need to make more time for getting on some more episodes over there. Like I've been popping in here and there, so I want to try to, find more time to get out there to them. I also want to shout out my other podcast, as I already mentioned. So You Like Horror. If you're into scary movies, go check those joints out. We just recently released the remakes versus originals, Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984 versus the 2010 version. And not really so much a which is better, but just kind of talking about the differences and the comparisons between the two films, one being an original, one being a remake. And then we're actually going to be doing, we're going to have an episode on you probably heard us mention it earlier, the recent movie called Companion. It's an AI horror type film, which I'm going to do some more of those because I think AI horror is terrifying. So I like tapping into that because it's really scary, because it's a thing that could really happen. So go check that out. And then also on June 6th, we're going to be doing an episode on Get Out. So it sounds like it should be very serious, but it's not. It's just me and my buddy cracking jokes the entire time and then talking about, hey, he was the only black dude at that party. He should have got out a long time ago. So, but otherwise, thank you. You go find that account on Instagram as well. So You Like Horror, all the words separated by underscores. And you find a podcast wherever you listen to other podcasts. Last but not least, I want to give a big shout out to my guest here and good friend, Mo Brown. Thank you for, again, making the time. And I know we had some scheduling things going on, allergies on your end, allergies actually on my end. And then I got sick. So thank you for being patient and then working with my schedule. So I greatly appreciate you. And you got to do this again sooner rather than later, man.
Of course, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And you listeners, again, we love you. You know what it is. You guys keep listening. We're going to definitely keep making this show. Thank you, everybody. And toodaloo. That's a new one. Goodbye.
They were with it. Now let me sing a song.